Check it out, guys. It's kind of a mess out here right now, but we got the gate all done. Found an old vintage wheel to put on it. And we got the hinges on. It's good to go. We got the whole back half of the property buttoned up to where we don't have to worry about the animals escaping or anything like that. We got kind of a little makeshift stable here for any animals that need to seek shelter. And we got the fence that goes right along here after the barn. Goes all the way down, all the way to the end of the property, runs along the backwoods there, and then comes all the way back up. So that leaves all this grass area for them to graze on. All summer long they'll have as much grass as they can eat. It seems honestly like this is about 1 acre, and it seems like they're keeping up with it. I have not mowed one single time, and by this time last year I probably mowed back here at least 5 times. So it's definitely saving me on mowing, and they're not eating nearly as much hay. Here's the newest addition to the funny farm. We bought this beautiful white turkey. He's really well behaved, beautiful. We got him in here for now. I don't think he's gonna stay in here. This is the old guinea enclosure. It was just sitting empty, and normally when we bring in new birds, we like to quarantine them just to kind of make sure that they're not sick or anything. And it also gives everybody time to kind of introduce themselves through the fence. With birds, if you just plop like a new chicken into a flock of hens, a lot of times they'll tear them up. Like it'll be really violent. So the best thing to do is to have your birds sort of acclimate them to the flock by putting them in a separate cage, you know, like just kind of quarantine them inside the chicken coop. That way they're safe, like no one can attack them, but they'll still socialize with the other birds, and they'll figure out the pecking order. And then after a couple days, you can let them out. And then hopefully there's not like any kind of crazy fights that happen. But that's something we learned with birds, is you can't just kind of throw them in. You gotta like put them in a separate cage and kind of let them figure each other out. This enclosure here, it needs cleaned up, but this is where the peacocks usually sleep. You can see everything's kind of been thrown around a bit. It's a lot of big birds that come in here, and this used to be our duck hut. It was all themed nautical. It actually had an old boat in here, and we would fill the boat up with water and the ducks would swim in it. But it was just a little too much maintenance cleaning out that boat every other week. It was really disgusting. So we ended up pulling the boat out, and we put some peacocks in here instead. But yeah, it definitely needs to be revamped and cleaned. But this is where the peacocks have been hanging out. It's kind of cool, and I don't know how it will turn out, but I have a lot of wild grapevine that's been growing all over this thing. And in the summer months, it creates like this beautiful canopy. And really, it doesn't let a lot of rain in, so it creates like a pretty good roof for the animals. And then at the same time, there's all kinds of grapes that fall down into the enclosure for the birds to eat. So it works out. But what I'm a little worried about is that as these grapevines mature, I mean, I've seen these things in the woods that are like this thick. So you know, with time, this thing's gonna rip this enclosure to pieces. So I do think that the grapevine look is probably just gonna be a temporary thing, maybe, you know, for a year or two. But as soon as those things start thickening up, you know, I'm gonna probably have to saw them all off. And I think eventually I'm gonna do like a real roof on this one and sturdy it up a little bit. But for now, it's fine. It's strong, and it's got some time, and I kind of like the look of it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, hopefully he gets along with everybody really well. He's really beautiful turkey. And we really want a really big tom to kind of strut around. And plus, we have a female lingering around somewhere, and she's been laying eggs like crazy. So now that we have a boy around, you know, maybe we'll have some fertile eggs and we could incubate them, get some baby turkey chicks up in here. What's going on, guys? Everybody's been real lazy. This is like the first real hot summer day. Babies are in there sleeping. What's up, guys? We haven't had to have the heat lamp on for a little while. Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out here tonight. We've been getting these really pretty sunsets. There's like a slight overcast every night from the smoke coming in, I guess, from forest fires up in Canada. But it really makes the whole sky glow orange for the sunrises and sunsets. It's really pretty. Ooh, turkey buzzard up there. For those of you who have been watching and know that Charizard kind of got into a fight and it got all tore up, she seems to be doing really well. I'm not really sure where she is right now. Oh, okay, I see her. She's over there against the fence. She seems to be healing up well, and she's getting her energy back and swelling's down. She's eating a lot more. So that's going good. What's up? It's so nice now that we have it all enclosed. We can kind of let everybody out, and it's really fun to watch them all socialize with each other. You know, the first day we let everybody out, the goats all teamed up and the sheep all teamed up, and they all came at each other. It was like West Side Story, but you know, with farm animals. It was super funny. But I mean, nothing got too violent, but they were all just kind of pushing each other around to figure out the hierarchy of the farm. It was really fun. And it honestly, it goes on every day, just a little bit more mild now, but they're always kind of figuring each other out. Right now, the peacock and the turkey, they're hanging out in the goat enclosure over there. I don't even know how they got in there. I got this little extra enclosure over here. We used to keep younger rabbits in it, but right now it's sitting empty. We'll probably keep it around for a little while, just, you know, in case somebody gets sick or someone needs to be quarantined or something. But I don't know, we'll probably get rid of it. It's sort of a creation, one of the first years we moved in. It's an old chinchilla cage and a chicken coop. And they're like fenced in together, so the animals can go all throughout it. The rabbits loved it. Look at the peacock hanging out up there. I don't know what it is about a peacock walking around the property, but it really does give you zoo vibes when you see a beautiful peacock all dancing around. All the zoos that, you know, we go to around here, like Toledo Zoo and Binder Park Zoo, they just kind of let their peacocks kind of walk around and do their thing. So that's what it reminds me of. I instantly think about the zoo. What's up, Blondie? What are you doing? You gonna be feisty? You being feisty tonight? I noticed the new goat, Miley, is falling in love with the young buck that we got named Spotlight. They've been hanging out like crazy. Look at him over there. Let's try to get a little closer. What's up, guys? Both these guys are real skittish. Oh my goodness. You're not skittish. That's Bambi. You guys, you're eating too much, Dinky. Dinky's gained a lot of weight since we've been letting him free range. Hopefully that's okay. I love the sheep. This guy's super cool, but every time he runs up, he kind of acts like he wants to fight. What's up, buddy? You can be like your dad. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice like your mom. Our new lamb, Darling, we found out is a Jacob's sheep. So she's got 4 horns. How cool is that? You know, we always kind of want something a little unusual when we're looking around. And we kind of got this by mistake. We didn't even realize she's got 4 horns. And they're getting big fast. I remember seeing them in an episode of Mandalorian. I think it was Mandalorian. There was like a little farm on some alien planet and you could see a bunch of big Jacob's rams. And they all had 4 horns. It was super cool. And now I own one, so I know the rams, they're a little bit more, you know, prominent. The girls, they don't get as big, but she might have a ram lamb in the future that will have, 4 really big horns. That would be super cool. And if it's with Wu-Tang, it'll be sort of half the size, hopefully, of his normal Jacob sheep. Or at least smaller than normal. That would be cool, a little mini 4-horn running around. But yeah, we had no idea. It was super cool when we found that out. We're like, no way, she's got 4 horns. Yeah, we try to get some unusual stuff, We got the Kune pigs and we got the mule duck. Got a lot of funky chickens and peacocks and emus. Trying to earn that Funny Farm name. What's up, guys? Does that mean you're mad when you guys kind of head bob like that? But yeah, we really are enjoying this new setup. It's pretty sweet. I can just kind of throw this chain on and forget about it. We can run to town. Well, I can't do it one-handed, but yeah, we just throw the chain up and lock it. But yeah, we've already went on a few excursions where we're gone for hours. And there's no worries. We know all the animals are outside of their cage. We're not worried about it. It's a pretty good feeling. And I know that it's good enrichment for them, you know. Sometimes when they really strip it and close her down naked, you know, you kind of feel bad for them when they're stuck in there, you know. But, I mean, as long as they're getting hay and water every day, they're fine. But, you know, sometimes you try to put yourself in their shoes and, you know, if you're able to let them graze, you know, it's definitely a good thing. So I'm happy to see that they're out there enjoying themselves. Oh my gosh. Come on, go. It's bedtime. Look at who's... What are you guys doing? Dinky. Get out of there. Well, you're not supposed to be in there. That's not the donkey hut. There's no way you're gonna fit in that house. Well, you gonna sleep down here tonight? Okay. If that's what you want to do. What's up? Dude, this guy's got red, white, and blue. He's screaming America. What's up, buddy? What are you talking about? You want out of there, huh? Yeah, he's super cool. Man, it's such a nice night. Yeah, it's beautiful. Hey, now you're both in there? What are you guys doing? Come on. You're gonna end up walking on something you're not supposed to. Let's clean up. We're gonna have to clean this up. This is a mess. Toss this over here. There we go. Just don't want you guys to walk on something and roll an ankle. Alright, well, I don't think you guys can get down there. Alright, that's better. I put up a little makeshift visor over the pigs. I just used a cattle panel. It's just temporary, but I needed to get some shade in there. It looked like they were baking in the sun today. So I just staple nailed it and tossed the little, you know, cover over it. Like a little canvas cover. They instantly went right underneath it and passed out. It was funny. But we got some wallows going for them too. But they like to get out of the sun every once in a while, like as you would. Or Pepper gets all the shade in the world from this mulberry tree. And not only that, it just rains berries down on her here in about 2 weeks. Yeah, they'll get a little bit of it right there. They're already starting to get some shade from it. It's got to be thousands of pounds of berries. There's so many. And it literally like rains down when the wind comes in, like this light breeze like that. they'll just be raining down in there. And she'll just walk around picking them up. So it worked out good. You know, I did think about that when I put her enclosure in. I said, let's put it under a berry tree. That way, you know, kind of help us feed the pigs. So that is something you should think about if you're doing a pig enclosure, because a lot of properties in the Midwest, they have like mulberry trees and stuff. They just grow wild on the usually like property lines. I'm so used to not seeing animals out here. Every once in a while I'll like catch a glimpse of one. Every once in a while I'll catch a glimpse of one running by, and I just kind of think, oh, is that a white-tailed deer or something? No, it's my sheep. And the kiddos are staying over at grandma's tonight, so it's just me and my wife hanging out. Usually when we let these guys out all day, we'll let him out of his, like, you know, little section back there, so he gets a larger enclosure. And now that they're not spending a lot of time in there, there's a lot more grass growing, so it's nice. I mean, he gets a little graze time too now. He's still with us, just standing out here. He's just like, let me out. We are still planning on doing like a Wu-Tang day, you know, if not once a month, you know, at least like once a season, we'll let him out, you know, put everybody else up, make sure the kids don't come out here, and just let him do his thing, because that's only fair. What's going on, guys? You got up kind of late, aren't you? Well, all these raccoon problems that we had, it really kind of disturbed all the pigeons, you can tell. You know, some of them have been displaced. They're sleeping in new enclosures that they never slept in before. And we did put in another little pigeon door on that enclosure there. You can see it up in the corner. And most of them have figured it out, but some of them still are clueless about it. I gotta rig it up a little bit better. I did it one night. I realized that there was like 7 or 8 of them that couldn't figure out how to get back in. I don't know if they were like too scared to use a certain entrance, so I had to just quickly I threw something together real quick. I mean, the frame is really good, but I need better hinges on the little flap. Yeah, it's little things like that, you know, you're constantly having to do. Keeps you busy, you know. But yeah, each enclosure kind of needs its own little thing. Now that we have it all established and we have everything positioned the way we want to, and the perimeter fence is done, now we can kind of go around and fine tune stuff. So what I really want to do is, with this enclosure, I want to first, there's some posts back there that I kind of want to realign and just a little bit more, you know, aesthetically appeasing to my eye. I want a more straight line through there. And then some sections of the fence have taken a beating from my bucks over the years. You can kind of see they're like stretched out and they're warping and coming away from the post. Honestly, with livestock, you're supposed to go outside on the corners and inside. And when I first started, this was like one of my first enclosures I did. I think this was after the chicken coop. Or no, I did the pig enclosure and then I did this. So this was one of my first projects. And I didn't stretch the fence properly. And I didn't go on the inside of the post like you're supposed to with livestock. So there's definitely some things that I want to try to fix on this. I want to realign some posts and give all the fencing a whole new stretch job and try to get it all nice and tight and re-nail everything down. And then I'll think I'll be happy. I do want to eventually kind of do more of a Western theme with this building and maybe some sort of like, you know, overhang, like little porch kind of, you know, almost like saloon style. I think that would be kind of cool for the animals. And the buck enclosure back here, I don't know if that will stay up or not. I'm not happy with the way it turned out. Some of the posts need to be re-leveled. And I want to, if it does stay, I want to go all the way around it with wood, top and bottom. Just to kind of give everything strength, and it will also make sure that the posts stay level. And then obviously the gate, that was a temporary thing that I did just to kind of let the goats in and out for now. It's terrible. I hate it. I really want to get it fixed. So that's probably going to be one of the next things. I want to get a real gate installed for that enclosure. This one just needs to be nitpicked a little bit more. Now that they're down to 2 emus, I want to bring them back a little bit and put in some sort of partition and kind of let this grow up a little bit more and then remove the partition. Because I think if I can get a nice good patch of grass growing in there, it will stay. And that will give them something to kind of graze on. And I need to finish going around trimming some of this critter fencing. And eventually I want to have a nice little stick-built shelter similar to that. Maybe a little bit bigger than that, but I don't know about doing the whole 2-tier thing, you know. It will probably just be like a nice little cube building, like a little tiny shed, just enough room for those 2 guys. But I want it to be stick built, you know, wood siding. The sheep enclosure down there as it stands, it's pretty good. There might be a few things that just kind of need tightened here and there, like with fencing. But the buildings are in really good shape, and overall that's I'm really happy with that one down there. Same with the one down here. The shed seems to be holding up really well. The young emus down there. I do need to, I'm not happy with the front being as short as it is, so I am going to put some wood in. Probably some 2x6s or maybe even 2x8s, just to kind of beef it up and give it some height. And on the back side, I need to run some sort of cable or some kind of line. Some way I need to give it a little bit more height along the back side, because I don't want them to somehow escape off my property. I'd rather them escape into my property, you know what I mean? So I need to have on the back side some sort of fencing or line that gives it a little bit more height. So I just need to do the back L, basically, like that. You know, that way if they do spill over, it's no big deal. I'll just walk them back over to the gate. But that way they can't spill over into an area that's not my property. This one, I think I already talked about it. Eventually I'm probably going to do a roof and sort of maybe some cross beams, kind of strengthen everything up and give it maybe a clean job, obviously, get everything raked up. But no, that one's in good shape. This one's in really good shape. I love my guinea enclosure. We figured out the weak spots and I already kind of got those fixed. So that one's good. The pig enclosure, this one, we've talked about it. It needs a lot of work. It was really one of the first ones that I put in. There's a little zoo up north, Garland Zoo, up across, it's up in the UP, just across the bridge. And I kind of had that zoo in my mind when I built this one, because they have like these just beautiful wood railings all the way around, so where you can come up and kind of look to see what the animal's doing. You know, you can put your elbows on it, and so that's what I kind of was thinking about when I built this. But it's sort of falling apart. We had like a 400 pound pig in here, and she was really tearing stuff up. So what I want to do is kind of like what I'm starting to do with this wood, but I want it all uniform. So I'm gonna wrap this entire enclosure. I'm gonna keep all the wood posts where they are. I'm gonna wrap the entire enclosure with like 2x6s. And I don't think they'll be able to get out of that. You know, use some nice long beefy construction screws and really lock it in. And then I'm hoping that I might even be able to keep the fencing in. I know it's all patched up, but it would just kind of give it a little extra strength or insurance that they're not going to get out. But yeah, I want to give that. But honestly, I haven't done it because I know it's going to be kind of costly. So and with the Kune Coons, they're not nearly as aggressive as the other pigs were. And honestly, I think they've settled Percy down a little bit, just their behavior. They're never messing with the fence very much. I mean, Pepper has thrown a couple fits, but it's not like they're constantly messing with the fence like our last pig. And it really wasn't just her. It was her both of her litters. You know, once they got to a certain age, they started getting real antsy, and they were constantly messing with the fences. So I had to go around patching this one a lot. But I mean, it's still in pretty good shape. You know, I'm not worried about them breaking out or anything. But that's what my plan is to kind of wrap it all with wood. Plus, I think it will give it a really good look. And they say with pigs, you know, they won't go at the fence. They say with pigs, they won't go at the fence nearly as much if they can't see the grass. You know, like if you put up like big thick boards and they can't really see all these little weeds growing, then they're not going to be compelled to try to break out. You know, if it's not in their eyesight, then they're not even going to care about it. So it kind of gives them a little peace of mind too. But yeah, my wife and I, we got big plans for sure. You know, eventually, you know, we'll tear this barn down, and we'd like to use a lot of the original lumber out of it to build something in its place where it is. And I mean, those are like way down the road plans. Eventually we'd like to do some sort of pond right here. It's real low, and we're hoping that maybe we're close enough to the water table to where we could dig out a small pond and have some more, you know, like nautical enclosures. Or not even an enclosure, you know, just have a pond just for the, you know, for the animals to go and drink out of, and keep it real shallow. But deep enough to where maybe you could have some fish and turtles. It'd be really cool. But yeah, we always like to, our main thing is we always want to try to keep this nice and open. A big prairie for the animals to graze on, and when we have like big family gatherings and the Halloween party, we want to have it nice and open. That way, you know, people can run around. But yeah, I mean, with what we've got done so far in the 4 years we've been here, I know my wife and I were really happy with where we're at. All the animals seem to be really happy too now. So it's good. We're gonna try to keep it going. Try to keep it growing, and hopefully you guys stay tuned. And you know, with any kind of big project, we'll for sure put it up on the YouTube channel so you guys can take a look. I'm gonna try to get this peacock back in here now that the donkey's left. But you guys, thanks for watching, guys.